lot going on. And I had a really bad stutter
Wow.
and could hardly function. And people just were taking advantage and it piled on. So that was a healing situation for me too, because like I was really damaged after my mom passed away. Because it wasn't just the damage of caring for her for the 3.5 years. It
Hmm.
was um she just got this new granddaughter and a month and a day later she passed away. But it was just a lot going on. And I didn't want to be a part of a lot of the stuff, but people were putting me in the midst of things I just didn't like. I'm one of those people, I don't care. If it's your drama, it's your drama. Don't bring me in that.
Right.
And it was just like people were adding me into things I just really didn't. I wanted to be okay. I was
Hmm.
taking 21 credits a semester because I was determined to finish my bachelor's degree before my mother passed. And
Hmm.
when you take 21 credits a semester, you have to be approved for it, and you have to keep your grades up in order to be approved.
Hmm.
So I had to be a straight A student while working full time, while just being newly married, while taking care of my mother and getting her back and forth from chemo treatments. Like
Right.
it was a lot going on.
I can
So
imagine.
like, and then after, mind you, I'm not that old. I'm like 23. So, I think my mom left thinking that I would be okay because she left me around enough people, adults that were
Yeah.
older than me that would make sure I was okay and not take advantage and make the situation worse. That is not what happened. Um,
Hmm.
when I say every adult that could take advantage of me took advantage,
Mm.
they did. So, that's where Brothers Black came because that came after Legally Bound and
Hmm.
after Hush, I think, because I was also angry then. So the assassins always come out when I'm angry. So Hush came from some anger, and then after that, it was like, okay, I still want to, mess some stuff up, but I need to be a little bit tamer, and that's
Yeah.
where Brothers Black came from, and some more healing happened.
Okay. So where did the bike club come about?
The Lost Souls MC.
Yes.
Think
What?
about that for a second. Think for a minute. Where did they come from? You know what? I know where they came from. I'm currently doing the Blue membership on Patreon because I'm bringing my Blue Sapphire membership back. It used to be on my website. We had developed a back end where you can log in and get the stories. Um, and that happened because I think I was like sharing stuff on Facebook in a Facebook book group, and
Mm-hmm.
something happened where something was taken or something that forced me into doing this on my website for
Mm-hmm.
$5.99. You join, you would get the books or whatever. And I was really fast at that time. So you were getting like a new story, supposed to get a new story a week or whatever. Um, and I was writing book 1, 2, and 3 simultaneously. That became crazy because
Mm-hmm.
how can you write books that should be
Yeah.
in succession next to each other? That just was a bad idea. Um,
Yeah.
I have made my mistakes, so I learned from them, and now we're over on Patreon doing new stories and new
Mm.
content and stuff because I'm doing it better. I've learned my lessons, but that's where the Lost Soul MC came from. Um,
Okay.
I think that was back when I read more too. I think I had just read an MC book and was like, let's do this because most of the time when I'm reading, I'm not reading from my genre. I'm reading
Mm-hmm.
a genre outside of mine. And I think I might have read a mainstream motorcycle book. I was like, oh, I can do this. Let's do my version. And
It was good. It was good. So you also did a retelling, fairy tale retelling.
the fairy tale retellings.
Now, how did that come about?
Okay, so I was publishing some other authors, and I wanted to be able. One of them was known, the other two not so much.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be able to get their names out there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
one of my master's degrees is in marketing. So my marketing brain is ill. It's always going. I'm always trying to figure out how I can connect something, how it can help to move the brand forward. And my idea was to, because at the time I had a significant name. So
Mm-hmm.
I figured, because of the list that I have, because of the reach that I have, let me just slap my name on a book and we all go in the book. And because they're going to get the book because I'm in it, they'll find you. That was the thought process. And then I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, what can we do? Because it needs to be quick. This is not something that we need to prolong, linger, or whatever. Oh, fairy tales. Let's do some fairy tale retellings. Y'all figure out which ones y'all want to tell, and then we'll all write a fairy tale. Um, One of the authors had picked Beauty and the Beast. And then when she started, she didn't want Beauty and the Beast anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
because I allowed everybody to pick theirs before I picked mine, I had really wanted Beauty and the Beast because
Mm.
I wanted to do the gender role flip where the Beast was the woman and whatever. I had already had the story in my head, and then when she said she wanted it, I was like, "Oh, I'll figure something else out," because I just can. It wasn't like it was
Mm-hmm.
a problem for me. But then when she started and she couldn't do it, I was like, "Oh, give it back."
Right.
I wrote the, because I was supposed to do two. I was supposed to do a paranormal one and I was supposed to do the contemporary one, because
Mm-hmm.
I also was getting ready to branch into paranormal romance, which people didn't know me for. So I figured
Mm-hmm.
I could give you a taste of my skills in this, and then
Mm-hmm.
we can go from there. So that was how that was born.
I have to say I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. That
I
because you got a 2-for-1.
And I love them. That was fun. That was fun. Someone asked me recently if I would do fairy tales again. I don't know. Hmm, hmm. I have, you know what? I have a lot of books that are already going
Yeah.
on. Like I said, the assassins always come out when I'm angry, and these days I'm angry all the time. I have my husband in here rolling because I was like, "Oh, let's do some assassins. Yeah, we're gonna do this." Da, 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 da. He was like, "That's crazy," and then bust out laughing. Do it.
He encouraging it. So you have your latest one, which is kind of like an MC Paranormal going on, and that first book was a doozy.
Let me see. Oh, ew, my boy.
That
Yes,
that
yes,
that,
yes.
huh, that first one was a doozy. So will all the men be and the sisters be couples, or it's gonna be more to that?
It's okay. That's its own universe. So
Mm-hmm.
um, it's gonna be the brothers and all the sisters that you've met,
Right.
and then there's a little surprise in book 5. And you're also going to get to know some other characters that have popped up in this particular book. Remember the werewolf?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Him and his brothers have a series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, y'all didn't meet the puppet master, but there's a series for the puppet master. Um, y'all just heard about him when
Mm-hmm.
the one brother went to Japan to,
Yeah.
yeah, the puppet master's assassins. That's a series. The Gate Watchers. You heard about the gates in that series. That's another series within that
Mm-hmm.
particular universe. If you give me a second, I can pull this up on my phone so I can be
You
accurate.
you have so many universes going on, and
Yeah.
it's crazy because your last series, this newest one, you bring in so many characters, so there can be so many backstories. And was that intentional?
Yes, for that particular series, it was because I wanted to build a new universe for them. And I had
Mm-hmm.
so many. I'm a cover junkie. Like
Mm.
if I got some money and I see a cover that's fire, it's mine.
I heard
Like
that.
like it's so bad that my cover designers know this, and they'll hit me up if they know they got some fire for me. So yeah. I had quite a few paranormal covers that I was like, why make these their own worlds? Let's just
Mm.
bring these suckers together. Oh, and then the Gargoyles also have a series.
Oh,
So there's the
I can't
gatekeepers,
wait.
the werewolves, the puppet masters, assassins, and then the gargoyles all go into that immortal Iron Brothers world. So that's why all that world building is going on, because it's actually a real universe and it's going to spin out into these other series.
Damn. So let me ask you this: do you feel like you have um more love for paranormal or contemporary?
Paranormal, absolutely.
Why?
I I love all things mystic, all things magic. If
Mm-hmm.
you can see the wreck that this office is right now, it's because I bought books on research to, like, it's not, this isn't going to happen anytime soon. I only have one cover for it. The cover designer is waiting for me to come back for the other two. But I even have a series where I want to do Vikings in Orisha. So
Oh.
I got books in here to study Vikings, Orisha, like,
Ooh.
and I don't step into anything that I it can't be I have knowledge of it. I have to
Mm,
immerse myself in it so that I can speak it back to you like it's my life. Does that make
mm.
sense?
Yeah, I totally understand.
So when I went to do the BDSM thing, I knew about it. I knew people, like, this was relationships I had. And when I saw the fetish that came up for people jumping into the life after, you know, that book, we're not going to mention any names. But when everybody just casually jumped into it, I'm like, that's not what it means.
No,
You're doing it wrong. No. So
no.
it was like, okay, I understand this world. I know it. I had coworkers who would tell me stuff I didn't need to know. Like, I knew too much about people. Like, this is not this you telling me way too much. So there was a level of experience that went
Mm,
into the Your series. And
yeah.
even now I'm with the Bay Breeze Peak series. That's one of my
Mm,
from my website with Dr. Oh no, this was Professor Jones, and next is his brother Max. His brother Max is sort of in the life, but I'm not doing um the type of dom that, how do I explain this? Um his goal really is to pamper her. It's about her life being taken care of. Too much we see the opposite, where it's just I'm whooping you for my pleasure and because I'm angry and I have things that
So
I do.
is he going to be, because I'm in the lifestyle, so I'm gonna say, is he going to be a pleasure dom, fin dom, or so around that type of thing?
Um, you taught me something new. Conversation for when we cut over here. Something I need to dive into and know a little better. Not afraid to say when I don't know something. But he's more out to bring her pleasure and make
Okay,
sure all that her needs are met.
he's a pleasure dom.
Yeah, it's all about her needs because she was in a marriage where she married very young. Um,
Mm,
and they didn't know what they were doing. So
mm,
she'd never, and when she went to read and find out how to do things better, her husband thought she cheated, and that causes a bunch of problems. And that's how
mm,
they end up divorced. Um, so now she meets this guy, and he kind of turns her out, and the whole book is going to be based on more of I'm doing this because you need it, not
mm.
because you want me to or need me to.
Right,
It's because it's what you need.
right.
Am I making sense?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
And if
I
there's some
understood.
terminology I'm missing, just give it to me.
I understood everything. And when you was talking about Vikings, that's so interesting because the well, I don't know, it's like one of my religions.
Oh,
Spirituality. I'm not going to say religion, I'm gonna say spiritualities is that I'm an astroturist. So I follow the Viking religion. So it's more of the warrior aspect that I follow. And that's why I have so many Viking tattoos all over my body.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I need some inboxing on that too.
Because when you said it, I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I don't remember what. All right, I know that I spoke with a particular author, and she wasn't sure where she wanted to go with the series that she was doing. This was when I had authors and was working with them.
Mhm.
And as an editor, if I'm your content editor, I'm gonna dive into your world too. I'm gonna do the research because my publishing company is not gonna look stupid for something that wasn't research. So
Right.
if you come to me, oh, I want to write this book, but it's gonna be about Chicago Vikings, you know, something wild like that. I'm gonna be like, okay, well, what do you know about this? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get your knowledge, but then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do my own knowledge. If I got
Mm-hmm.
my maps to figure out what's going on in there, sit there with hours of YouTube to get something,
Mm-hmm.
or pull up a cousin and be like, yo, you know, such and such, such a street. Are they live like that there? Does this happen? How does this work? And I
Mm-hmm.
also have a weird amount of banked information that's just weird to know that I have. And
Mm-hmm.
it can get to the point where you're like, that bitch don't know all it. And actually, I do. It's just
Mm-hmm.
stored somewhere from a life experience. So
Right.
you'll come and say something, and I'll be like, oh no, that's not possible because this, that, and this. I remember editing one book, and there was something with an elevator, and I was like, nah, my father was an elevator. He has a elevator safety license. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know, he's licensed for this, and that's not possible. You can't do that. The elevators don't work like that. That would
Right.
actually be that would actually be against how that works. I'm sorry, my husband's texting me to ask me if I want something from the store.
You're fine.
I don't think so, but we're gonna ask for pretzels anyway. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to dig into whatever and learn as much as I can, try to immerse myself in that until
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's knowledge I can apply. That's what it's called, applied knowledge. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
learn, but it's very rare that we're able to apply the knowledge that we've learned. And I want to absorb it because once it starts to go in a book, it shouldn't sound like an encyclopedia. That's a
Mm-hmm.
thing of mine. If I research a medical resident, I don't want to sound like I'm giving you the encyclopedia version of what a medical resident is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to drop you in the trenches of this is how it happened. Like when I wrote Mail, my second
Mm-hmm.
book, the both heroes had PTSD, and one was from military service, the other one was from a life event.
Mm-hmm.
I have suffered from certain more than one case of PTSD, so
Right.
I got the flashback part of it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had some soldier friends that were speaking to me, telling me experiences and how that would work out for them, especially as Marines, or because he was a Marine, so it needed to be specific to a Marine. So when I sent the pages to his, because it was a reader
Mm-hmm.
who helped me, and she wasn't the Marine, her husband was. So
Mm-hmm.
when I sent her the pages and she let her husband read it, he was like, "That's bang on. That's what it's like." So
Mm-hmm.
like it has to speak to that person I'm speaking about.
Right.
I don't want to touch it.
Right.
Like where the pieces fall, I worked in special education for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I worked closely with autism. So I had that knowledge base from being in that particular world for a while.
Right.
Um, and I cried when because I gave that book as a freebie to readers who came to my retreat,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted me to publish it. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. Like this one is close to the heart. I don't think I should. And they were like, no, this needs to come out now. Put it out now. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So then I ended up putting the book out because I wanted to make sure I got it right. So I was very appreciative to all the families and the moms who came and said that, yeah, I nailed it. And they felt hope for their own children after reading that book. That was dope.
Yeah. Damn, that's deep.